Good evening. This is Kaleem Shabazz, president of the Atlantic City branch of the NAACP. Thanking you for tuning in to our version tonight of NAACP. Boy.
You want me to just keep going and edit that part out?
No, that's right. I'll do it again. I think, Steph, that we're going to have an investigation because Yolanda's done something. Good evening. This is Kaleem Shabazz, president of the Atlantic City branch of the NAACP. Thanking you for tuning in to tonight's version of the NAACP Speaks radio program. We're heard weekly on WEHA every Tuesday at 5 p.m. on WEHA 88.7 and 100.3 FM. Tonight we are here with our brilliant and capable co-host, Yolanda Melville Esquire, the legal redress officer for the NAACP branch, our political action chair and national president of the Next Gen NAACP Leadership Program. Good evening, Yolanda.
Good evening, President Shabazz.
We also have Steph, the most efficient program engineer in the area, guiding us tonight. Before we start our program and hear from our outstanding guests, let me go over some NAACP announcements with your permission, Yolanda.
Absolutely.
Okay. First of all, Wednesday, February 26th, from 11 to 12:30 p.m. at Bethel Synagogue, 500 Jerome Avenue in Margate. We're going to have the extreme pleasure of having our New Jersey State Attorney General come and speak to us on the topic fighting anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and church violence. This activity is sponsored by, in no particular order, the Atlantic City Branch NAACP, the Mainland Branch NAACP, the Jewish Community Relations Council, the Fellowship of Churches of South Jersey and vicinity, the Bridge of Faith, and the Coalition for a Safe Community, and last but not least, the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL. We encourage those of you who can to come to this event Wednesday, February 26, 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at Bethel Synagogue, 500 Jerome Avenue in Margate. And this is one of the things that the NAACP is putting particular emphasis on, fighting against the rising tide of anti-Semitism, racism, Islamophobia, and violence against houses of religion, houses of worship. We believe strongly that people should be able to worship freely in their chosen religion without fear of violence and without fear of being intimidated or being the victims of hatred and acts of violence. So that's Wednesday, February 26th. Thursday, April 3rd, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Second Baptist Church in Atlantic City. The Reverend Willie D. Francois III will be our guest speaker at our third annual MLK Memorial. Reverend Francois is a dynamic speaker, a social activist, a author, and we encourage those of you who have not heard him to come and hear him on Thursday, April 3rd. Those of you who have heard him, you don't need any encouragement, and you know he will have a dynamic presentation. Saturday, April the 11th, from 8:30 to 10:30, We're going to have a breakfast put on by our Infant and Maternal Mortality Task Force of the NAACP. Unfortunately, Atlantic City leads the state in infant and maternal mortality. And our effort at the NAACP is to help First Lady Tammy Murphy, who's leading this effort statewide, to reduce the incident of African American, Hispanic, and really all babies dying. And this breakfast is going to be a kickoff of that effort and a continuation of that effort. And we encourage you to come. The breakfast is free. Please come to that. You can get more information at our meeting, which is going to be the second Monday in March. Every second Monday is the NAACP meeting at 6 o'clock at Jeffro Church, which is 423 North Ohio Avenue in Atlantic City. We encourage you to come to our meeting. And finally, for announcements, Saturday, April 25th, is the annual Freedom Fund Breakfast, which is going to be held at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City. The doors are open at 8:30. The program will start promptly at 9 o'clock. Our keynote speaker is the Reverend Dr. DeForest Buster Soares, the former Secretary of State here in New Jersey, a dynamic preacher and a social activist, a author, and a lecturer, and he will be our keynote speaker. Some of our honorees will be Elder William Hawks, who is the president and co-founder of WEHA radio station, and we thank Elder Hawks continuously for his business expertise and what he does in the community. First Lady Tammy Murphy will be the health honoree for her outstanding leadership efforts of highlighting infant mortality and maternal mortality in New Jersey. And we will have Matt Daugherty, who is the executive director of CRDA, Casino Reinvestment Development Authority, who has focused on Atlantic City and has done many significant things to improve the quality of life in Atlantic City. For ticket information, for sponsorship information, for ad information, you can call 609-338-2383. That's 609-338-2383. Tickets, sponsorship, or ads. And this activity is headed up by Rosie Segura, who is the chairperson of the breakfast and is doing a fine job. That's Saturday, April 25th. Yolanda, I think you have another very interesting guest. And by my count, I think we're equal on the count of guests, but I think you will differ with that. But we'll let Steph be the arbitrator of that. But anyway, your guest tonight is going to be interesting, informative, and I turn it over to you.
We'll have to get a recount. Well, it is my pleasure to introduce someone who I think doesn't need an introduction because she is an Atlantic City native, a civil rights advocate, a community organizer, and just is an all-around great person, and is a member of our local NAACP, Helen Keokas. I would like Helen first tell us a little bit about yourself personally before we get into the service that you give to this great community.
Oh, sure. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate being here and having this conversation. I am Atlantic City resident, born and raised, a product of the public school system, which is why when we start talking about this changing government petition later on, it might be clear why I'm so passionate about advocating on behalf of the community and being really vocal in the opposition to it. So I work for a voting rights organization. Been doing that for about 2 years now. It's a statewide position. And our mission is to empower voters, break down barriers that still exist to voting, because unfortunately, despite the fact that in the last week we celebrated both, or early February, we celebrated both the 150th anniversary of the 15th Amendment giving black men to vote, and just on February 9th was the 100th anniversary of New Jersey ratifying the 19th Amendment giving women the right to vote. So we are a century and a half into people having these voting rights on paper, but there's still so many barriers that exist. So we work to break down those barriers and educate voters and make sure that all votes matter and all voices matter. And prior to that, I was working as a union organizer. So I've transferred those organizing skills from labor into now the nonprofit sector.
What do you think is the most rewarding part of your work?
So working in my current position and when I was in different healthcare facilities and hospitals as an organizer with unions, it was seeing someone who would meet me and start off saying, I don't want to get involved, or I'm not good at public speaking, or I'm nervous about this, or I don't feel comfortable speaking with my colleagues, to then seeing them testifying in front of the Senate or confronting the managers at the negotiation table. I'm just seeing that transformation that people go through when they get involved with their colleagues. In my current position, that's getting involved with your community and advocating collectively for the issues that matter to not just your own benefits and your own pay in the workplace, but also advocating for policies that improve our democracy.
Tell us about your work in the Atlantic City community generally, your community organizing, your civic association involvement. Just tell us about that work.
Right. So I am a member of the NAACP, the Atlantic City branch. I'm also a member of my local Chelsea Neighborhood Association. So through my civic association, I have recently become more active with a coalition that consists of the 5 civic associations. There are 5 in Atlantic City. In addition to ours, the First Ward Civic Association, the West Side Neighborhood Protective Association, the Venice Park Neighborhood Association, and the Bungalow Park Neighborhood Association. So long-standing organizations that promote civic engagement and are the place where neighbors can go and talk about the issues that matter to them and get all kinds of information. There are guest speakers every week from not just from the city, but sometimes from the state as well, to come and talk about resources available to residents. The local elected officials will come and talk about what's happening at City Hall. So it's really a great place every single month where people can go to get information about their community and Atlantic City more broadly, not just their own neighborhood. So recently with the Coalition of Civic Associations, we have become vocal against a petition to change our local form of government. And I've been working with the group to get the message out. We've traveled to every civic association with a presentation that kind of digs deeper into the statute that the group that circulated this petition, the statute that they used and that they're trying to transition to. So we're getting that information out there to really unpack what the change would mean, because it's not just, do you want a mayor or do you want a professional city manager? It's not as simple as, pick one. There are a lot of implications, and so we've been traveling. We've done presentations at every civic association. We have a new Facebook page up called Civic Associations of Atlantic City United, and I encourage people to like and follow that page to keep up to date on this campaign. Yeah.
So Helen, a few meetings ago, you had an opportunity to come before the Atlantic City NAACP and give your presentation, which, led to some efforts on our end in getting more involved in the efforts. The NAACP is nonpartisan, but this is integral to our work, and our members believe it is integral to our work because we believe it's a civil rights violation. Right. We believe that there are issues with voter dilution, and the NAACP's mission to combat voter dilution, voter suppression, and ensuring that the electorate represents the people.
Right.
So, President Shabazz, just quickly turning it over to you, what has happened since Helen's come before the NAACP branch at Atlantic City with her efforts for the petition to change the government, just surprising the people about the efforts? What has the NAACP done?
First of all, let me say, Helen, thank you for your hard work. Thank you for your effort. And thank you for putting together your presentation. because your presentation breaks down in a way that people can understand it, the ramifications of this misguided sham of a change of government. And that's what a lot of times people look at politics and they step away because it's they don't want to get in the weeds, and sometimes it gets confusing. But your presentation is clear and straightforward, and I appreciate that.
Right.
Thank you so much for doing that. The NAACP, Yolanda, we passed a resolution unanimously, the branch against the change of government, because we believe that it's a civil rights violation, it's a social justice travesty, really, because it strips people of the right to have representation from their district. And the history of at-large voting, which this change would have us have, is a history that civil rights groups and social activist groups have traditionally fought against. Because when you have at-large voting, it tends to make minorities not be represented. And that's the history across the country, and there's numerous suits against that. And that's one of the main reasons that NAACP is against it. And I'm happy to report that recently, in a meeting at Woodbury, New Jersey, of the State Executive Committee of the NAACP, a resolution was passed to support our effort locally to be against this change of government. And all of the 47 branches in the NAACP state organization are going to pass resolutions against this. This would be a travesty if, I agree totally with Helen in her presentation, if we go from represent government that has representatives from districts to at-large representation, if we go from having a direct election of the mayor to having 5 individuals who are elected at large select the mayor, if we go from having the ability to have initiative and referendum to not having that ability, if we go from having a government that appoints directors to having a business manager who he or she can get tenure in after 3 years, I think that goes against everything that we stand for as an organization, and really the basic principles of democracy. The other thing, let me stop so and don't not take up all the time with my guest. Helen is my guest, just for the record. But there are 565 municipalities in New Jersey. Out of the 565 municipalities in New Jersey, only 6 have this form of government that they're advocating for. Mm-hmm. I think that speaks for itself.
Mm-hmm. So, Helen, clearly the NAACP's position that it's a civil rights issue, but on the ground, talking to civic associations, talking to the neighborhoods, and specifically these wards, what are the community members saying? Do they feel this is a civil rights violation? What do they feel about the petition?
So we have gotten really positive feedback after these meetings, and a lot of people truthfully say this happened actually a lot at the First Ward Civic Association meeting. Many people in the audience saying either I came here supporting the change or I came here not really understanding, but now that we've seen this presentation and that we talked about it as a group, I'm going to vote no. Because like the councilman said, that going from a ward system to at-large, Atlantic City doesn't have wards because someone was creative and thought it was a good idea. The 1965 Voting Rights Act made these processes that discriminated against communities of color, Black Americans, and language minorities. And there can't be a process that doesn't give everyone an equal opportunity to participate in democracy, and having at-large districts did that. So the wards came about not just Atlantic City, but in cities across the country as a result of the 1965 Voting Rights Act and then its expansion in 1982. And I think 1982 was when we did get wards in Atlantic City. So that's not a coincidence. It had to do with litigation around the country to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to elect candidates of their choice. And just in this last election, we had 2 Bengali American men elected to council from the 2 neighborhoods where that immigrant population is growing. And that reflects the success of the Voting Rights Act. That the community can come together and elect candidates of their choice and elect people who will represent their interests and that neighborhood specifically. So having neighborhood level representation is really important for a diverse community like Atlantic City. And also not being able to elect our mayor. We are not saying that everything is perfect. And that's another way that our message is being misconstrued by some of the proponents of this, that the people who want to keep the form of government have some kind of special interest, or I don't know, but we're the civic association leaders and the members who oppose it have no agenda other than we want to keep our voting rights, we want to keep our neighborhood representation. We also this is something personally that bothers me a lot about this is under our current form of government, we have what's called initiative and referendum power. So if city council does something that we don't like, we can voters can come together and sign a petition and overturn that ordinance, or we can put our own question on the ballot. This 1923 form of government takes that from us, takes that power. So I ask myself, why have they chosen a form of government that will prevent us from coming together in the future to either overturn an ordinance or implement an ordinance? And that's the power, the initiative and referendum power is what the civic associations used in 2017 to stop the privatization of the water. So it was a power that, it was a muscle that they flexed 3 years ago and stopped this takeover. And it was an amazing David and Goliath grassroots victory. So for the people who are supporting this to put forward a form of government that would take that power from the people, it's when the civic association members hear all of these facts, no one, by the end of the meetings, there's not a single person in the room speaking in favor of it. So it's a matter we're doing a lot of public education and we're going to continue to do presentations. There's recently been a court challenge introduced to stop the election. I don't know what the outcome of that will be. So for now, we're just continuing on educating our neighbors about what's really at stake and encouraging people to vote no.
Could I just interject one quick thing? Helen is exactly right. We had a form of government in Atlantic City in the past. We had a large voting. And because of the inequities that we saw in that, let's say we were talking about the community at large, we changed from the commission form of government to the form of government we had. So really, if this was to succeed, we'd be going back to a past that we had corrected. We had a large form of government. It didn't work, and we went to the current form of government. And as Helen said, we're not perfect. Those of us who happen to be elected officials are not perfect, but we are accessible. You can vote people out every 2 years. We just had an election in Atlantic City that people were voted. And the form of government we have now, I think the great majority of citizens are coming to see, even though it's imperfect, it's much better than the form that people want us to go to.
Right. The answer is not to give up our voting rights because we're not satisfied. There are issues with streetlights, not having bulbs replaced, dark streets, trash not being picked up. There are a number of quality of life issues and other issues in the community that Atlantic City residents, reasonably are upset about. But to say that the answer is to give up your voting rights and to eliminate your neighborhood level representation, that to me that makes no sense.
So we've heard you talk about an election. When is that election?
It's scheduled for March 31st.
Okay.
Tuesday, March 31st, there is going to be nothing else on the ballot. Atlantic City voters will be asked to go to the polls simply to vote yes or no. Yes, a yes vote is I want to change to the 1923 municipal manager form of government. Again, 1923, just, before 3 years, only 3 years after women even got the right to vote. So things were very different in America in 1923.
Right.
So yes, do we want to go to a 1923 form of government, or no? Voting no means to keep our current mayor-council form.
Helen, when's the last day to register to vote in order to be eligible to vote in the March election?
For any election, it's 21 days before the election. So for the March 31st vote, people need to register by Tuesday, March 10th. That's the deadline to have the registration submitted so you can be eligible on March 31st.
Helen, before we close, are there any last words you'd like to share with us? But even more importantly, not more importantly than your words, of course, but how can people get involved in supporting your efforts?
So follow and like our Facebook page, Civic Associations of Atlantic City United. Also, I encourage everyone to find out when their monthly civic association meeting is, and to become a member and to become more involved at the local level, and talk to your friends and neighbors, anyone you know who's a voter in Atlantic City. We have to reach a lot of people. Voter turnout in the last November election was only 6% in Atlantic City. Or maybe that's not correct, but no, it was more than that.
But it was too low.
It was too low. It was too low. I think out of 23,000, only maybe 6,000 voted. Maybe that's why I have the number 6 in my head. So it's very low. So we need people to talk to everyone they know who's a voter to make sure that they get to the polls on the March 31st. If people aren't register to vote. And I thank you for inviting me to have this conversation.
Thank you so much, Helen.
Thank you for your time. I do want to thank our studio audience again for supporting us and being with us tonight. Steph, President Chavez, I will be ready next time with another dynamic guest.
Okay, thank you. But just for the record, Helen is my guest. But thank you. In any regard, Helen was an excellent guest, and we appreciate your message. And again, the NAACP does not endorse candidates. We do support efforts. We are saying, in unison with Helen and in unison with the civic groups, please, if you are a Lang City voter or you know of a Lang City voter, on March 31st, vote no. N-O, vote no. Again, for the announcements, starting from the last announcement and working forward, Saturday, April 25th is our Freedom Fund breakfast, Hard Rock Casino. The doors open at 8:30. The breakfast starts at 9. The keynote speakers, Reverend Dr. DeForest Buster Soares. Some of our honorees are William Hawks, First Lady Tammy Murphy, and Matt Darby of CRDA. Saturday, April the 11th, is our maternal and infant task force breakfast, which is going to be at the All Wars Memorial Building, 1510 Adriatic Avenue. That's a free activity from 8:30 to 10, and we encourage you to come to that activity. Thursday, April the 3rd, is our third annual Dr. Martin Luther King Memorial Service. Our speaker is Reverend Willie D. Francois, senior pastor at Mount Zion Baptist Church in Pleasantville, New Jersey. That's at Second Baptist Church in Atlantic City from 6 to 8 p.m., and we encourage you to come there. Our youth council will be running most of that program, and they are some dynamic young people, and we encourage you to come see them operate our Leaders of the Future and hear Reverend Francois. Wednesday, February 26th, from 11 o'clock to 12:30, 11 o'clock in the morning to 12:30, at Bethel Synagogue, 500 Jerome Avenue in Margate. The Attorney General of the state of New Jersey is going to be here, and he is going to be talking about fighting anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and church violence. This activity is sponsored by many groups in the community, AC and the mainland NAACP, the Jewish Community Relations Council, Fellowship of Churches, the Bridge of Faith, Coalition for a Safe Community, and the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL. We encourage you Wednesday, February 26th, from 11 to 12:30 to come and hear our Attorney General talk about these very, very relevant topics. Yolanda, thank you so much for being a brilliant co-host and program coordinator. And Helen, thank you for being an outstanding guest. Steph, we always thank you for your engineering brilliance. And we say, as we close, when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. And thank you for listening to the NAACP Speaks.